Hello, in this video we're going to talk about the domain and the range. The domain is all potential x values of a graph, and the range is all potential y values of the graph. So we're going to look at the domain and range from a graphic perspective. So if I look at this first graph on the far left, I'd say domain. What x values are there? Could x be any number whatsoever? Or is there a limit to what the x values are? Nope. The domain is all real numbers. It can be written two ways, all real numbers, or it can be written that the domain goes from negative infinity to infinity. The range would be the y values. Can y be any value whatsoever? Nope. Because it's a quadratic facing down, I know that the graph will never come back up. Therefore, this peak right here, the vertex, is the maximum y value. The y's can extend downward. So the range goes from negative infinity to 2, inclusive of 2. So I'm going to use a bracket to be, that means it also includes 2. I'd use a parenthesis if it did not include 2, but approached 2. So let's take a look at the second graph. The domain. Can x be any number? You got it. So the domain is all real numbers, or it can be written as from negative infinity to infinity. The range, is there a limit to the range, or can it be any number? It could be any number, so again, all real numbers, or negative infinity to infinity. Let's take a look at the domain and range on this third graph. The x here is not any number. It starts at this point and continues forward. Therefore, the domain goes from negative 3 to infinity. The range goes from negative 2 to infinity because the range does not go below that point. The y values do not go down further into the negatives. These should be brackets. Again, I say, why should they be brackets? That is a closed dot. Since it's a closed dot, it means it includes that point. If that had been an open circle at that location, it would be an open parenthesis. So now let's take a look at this graph. The domain are all possible x values, and any x value can be in the domain. Therefore, it goes from negative infinity to infinity. The range, however, is limited. This is the minimum value down here. So it goes from 0, inclusive of 0, to infinity. The domain on this line, any real number. And the range is the same. Ooh, a sine function. The domain looks to be that it goes in this pattern like this. The domain is any real number, so it goes from negative infinity to infinity. The range, however, goes between here and here. So it starts and includes negative 1 and goes up to 2.5. And that would be my range. And that is a review on domain and range.